Morning. Just for posterity, since no one's going to be looking at these but me. I mean, it is online, but today's been a stressful day. I'm going to read from my book and hope that it gets better. So ignore me if I blow my nose or, express emotion. It's going to be great. Life is going to be great. At some point. Okay. Today we start with page 118. We'll see where we end. When the hour arrived for us to leave the rocky chamber of gloom and silence and step out into the sunlight once more, my heart broke out into its old-time beat. Had I not been in the presence of the venerable Beniaga, I should have leapt and danced for joy as we emerged from that dreary abode, and I felt the warm air fan my cheek once more. But one thing struck me now most forcibly. It was the wonderful change which I noted in the blind hermit himself when he stood in the sunlight and the morning breezes tossed the curls of his white silken hair like April winds making merry with a flock of snowflakes. First, his appearance was quite different from that to which I had become accustomed. A leathern cap crowned his massive head and held his thick rebellious hair somewhat in control. His wide flowing beard had entirely disappeared beneath his rude garb, save where it clothed his face and neck. I saw at once that he was clad for work, for toilsome progress through Palinmatalin's thick growth. In his right hand he carried a curious rod or wand, long, slender, polished, and extremely flexible. I soon learned to wonder at his extraordinary skill in using this staff to guide his steps or discover the nature of any object not within the reach of his hands. A rude pouch or leather bag was swung across his shoulders. The change in Beniaga's manner was still more noticeable. To me, this change was as pleasing as it was unexpected. In a brief half-hour, he became another man. His deep, rich voice, soft and round as the sound of an organ pipe, took on a mellower tone. A faint smile wreathed in his noble features as the sunlight fell upon them. His step became quick and elastic, his movements brisk and agile. So wonderfully keen were his remaining senses that only the closest observer could have guessed that he was blind. Turning in the direction of the spot where his dogs were at play, he startled me by breaking out into a joyous, "Yo-ho, my children! Yo-ho, my brothers! Come here to me, here to me!" His dogs, Bulger among them, bounded forward with a loud chorus of barking. Beniaga caught the stranger's voice. "It pains me deeply," he cried, "to rob him of his playfellows, for I see him gambolling and sporting with my children." As the blind hermit stooped, his dogs, with loud cries of sorrow at parting, sprang up to lick his face and hands. "Go, my children, go, my brothers," said Beniaga. "Content yourselves. You'll come again soon, very soon, with love warmed by absence." All was now ready for the start. Beneath the rising sun, I could see a long, dark line far away where the earth and sky came together. It was Palin Ma Talin, home of darkness, the great gloomy forest. Thither Biniaga now directed his footsteps with astonishing rapidity of gait, tapping the ground with his long, polished wand as he hurried along. Awestruck, I followed my blind guide. In comparison with such miraculous powers of hearing, smelling, and feeling, my eyes were worthless. Ever and anon he called out to me, "Guard thee well, my son. A viper stirred in the grass to thy left. Guard thee well, my son, to touch the leaves of the flowering shrub through which we are passing now. They are poisonous. Guard thee well, my son, to taste the waters of the rivulet to which we are coming until I have made trial of its purity. Guard thee well, my son, to pluck one of the flowers which now delight thy eye and charm thee with their odor. 'Tis next to death to breathe the perfume close to thy nostrils. Guard thee well, my son, to crush upon thy skin one of little insects which now fill the air, lest thou spread a subtle poison o'er thy flesh." As we drew near to the outer edge of the great gloomy forest, a strange joy lit up in Biniaga's face. He beat the air with his polished wand in graceful curves and circles as he poured forth, half singing, half reciting, a sort of chant, invocation, or mysterious greeting to Palin Ma Talin, home of darkness. As if charmed by the rich music of his own voice, his spirits ran higher and higher. At times he halted to catch the soft echoes as they came floating back on the wings of the morning air. As nearly as I remember, Biniaga's chant was something like this. "Oh, la la la, hail to thee, Palin Ma Talin, shadowy land. La la, lula, lo-li, lula, lo-li, we are coming to thee, beloved temple of silence and gloom. Let us into thy dark corridors, Palin Ma Talin. Thou art victor, Palin Ma Talin, my beautiful. From thy buckler of darkness fall the sun's arrows, splintered and broken. Oh, la 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 la, we are coming, king of gloom and stillness, Palin Ma Talin, O silent domain. Let us in from the roar and the glare. Let us in from the roofless world. We are near at hand, Palin Ma Talin. Swing open thy black portals, lift thy veil of gloom, admit thy children into thy silent chambers." At last we stood at the very edge of the forest. Biniaga swept his polished wand against the foliage of one of the low-hanging, far-reaching branches, then sprang forward and, seizing a handful of the leaves, crushed them in his grasp and raised them to his nostrils. "This is not the gateway, my son," he cried. "We must turn further northward." After about half an hour, he again halted and reached out for a handful of leaves, inhaled their odor. "Not yet, not yet," he murmured, "somewhat northward still. Be not troubled, my son. Thou seest Palin Ma Talin with thine outward eye. Not so, Biniaga."
Oh.
Excuse me. That made me feel a little better. Made me forget. "Somewhat northward still, be not troubled, my son. Thou seest Palin Ma Talin with thine outward eye. Not so, Biniaga. He must lay his hand upon the very walls of this temple of silence and gloom ere he can see it." Suddenly the blind hermit paused. His thin nostrils quivered. His massive breast heaved convulsively. "We are almost there," he spoke in measured tones. "I catch the perfume of the foliage which clothes the two ebon columns of the gateway. I looked and saw before me 2 towering trees whose wide-reaching branches swept the very ground. Side by side they stood, alike in size and grandeur. Beniaga passed his hand caressingly over the first branch, which brushed his cheek and pressed its leaves to his lips, then broke out into his wild chant once more. I stood looking at the blind hermit and listening to his song of greeting, hardly knowing what to expect next, when suddenly he threw himself upon his knees and crept under the far-reaching branches of one of those gigantic sentinels of the great gloomy forest. Bulger and I followed him. Thus it was as we entered the domain of Palan Matalin, Home of Darkness. I shall not try to describe to you the solemn stillness, the mysterious twilight of the great gloomy forest, nor to paint for you the wonderful beauty of the deep green mosses which covered rocks and trees, trailed from the swaying branches, carpeted the floorway, or hung like heavy canopies from tree to tree above our heads, and increased the gloom caused by the thick interlacing foliage. I had followed Beniaga's noiseless footsteps about half a mile into the stilly depths of Palan Matalin when I began to feel a strange chill creep over me, beginning at my very fingertips and pursuing its insidious way towards my very vitals. So rapidly did it run its benumbing course that I was upon the point of calling out to the Beniaga when he halted, and having broken a twig from a tree with foliage of dark green and polished leaves, bade me eat them, saying, Palan Matalin does no harm to those that know him. I found the leaves. How weird. I swear that just said 55 seconds, and now it says 37. I found the leaves pungent and agreeable to the taste. Their effect was magical. My limbs at once forgot their numbness, and my step lost its heaviness. We had now been several hours in the great gloomy forest, and thus far Beniaga had advanced into its ever-increasing gloom, for night was falling without halt. Had Beniaga had as many eyes as Argus and each of Link's powers, he could not have pursued his way through Palan Matalin's gloomy corridors more easily and more securely. His polished wand flashed like a thing of life in his miraculously trained hand, touching everything, vibrating, swinging, advancing, retreating, with a rapidity that my eyes could not follow. Okay. Well, that was today. Where was that at? Right here. Okay. Start there tomorrow. Alright, y'all. If someone should see this, I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you have a day much better than mine.